What's up? It's ADR back with ADR's Premier League review. I appreciate everybody that has subscribed, commented, liked the videos. At the beginning of this week, I set a goal to hit 140 subs by the end of this week. We are at 142. That's all thanks to you guys. Please keep commenting down below. Let me know what you think. Give me your opinions on things. We definitely want to continue helping grow this channel and this community, but I can't do that without you guys. Let me know underneath the videos, what you like, what you think I should add. That way, and let's continue hitting the subs. That way I can go ahead and put, a little bit more into this, getting a background, some microphones. This weekend I do plan on actually releasing a video each day throughout the weekend, but I did have my friend come through, Rex. I was going to get him on the channel. He's a Chelsea fan. Was going to get him on here, but I just want a little bit more of a setup throughout this process before I start getting people on here. That way it's a little bit more professional for you guys. You guys continue enjoying the content, things like that, right? So we definitely want to try and provide more for you guys, but we don't want to rush everything. We want it to come in stages, and we want to produce the best stuff that we possibly can at each time that we do it for you guys, right? Again, I do appreciate everything. Shout out to the gentleman who commented on the I want to say the Game Week 1 predictions video. I do appreciate that. You shouted out and said that you think that I should go ahead and go through the whole league predictions for the weekend. I'll definitely do that now, right? I did have it before where I was just going to do the top 10 predictions from then and go from there, but I'm going to go through the whole list just like I will now on the preview, I will on the review. So today you will get a review of all the games, what I think, little bits and bobs of what I think the outcomes kind of entail throughout the season, how those teams can take that further into game week 2 and things like that. I wasn't able to watch every game, but I do have the ability to watch majority of the games. Sometimes they put them all at 10 o'clock. I can't watch 5 games at 10 o'clock. I wish I had 5 eyes, but I don't, right? So I got to kind of pick and choose based off that, but I do rewatch highlights. I look at the stats afterwards, and then I base opinions off of how teams set up. I try and catch bits and pieces of each game, so at least I can see some of the tactical analysis that the coaches are trying to input. But other than that, your boy is trying to come as cool, calm, and collective as I can with this content. So please keep subscribing, liking, sharing, hit the notification bell to know when I go and post a video. I will bring lives up throughout this channel. We're going to keep doing different bits of content. I just need you guys to tune in and keep liking these videos so we can keep producing for you. All right. Let's get into Game Week 1 review. To start off the season, we had Manchester United versus Fulham. Yes, I watched this game. I thought it was a pretty decent game. I do think that my thoughts on Manchester United was that they were going to be a bit leaky as how they were last season. I know that near the end of the season last season, they tend to clean it up a little bit, right? At least with the shape. They weren't as open as they were beforehand. I know the end of last season, I believe they lost 4-0 to Crystal Palace, so that doesn't really show what I'm saying now. But I think that their structure and the players that they're going to bring in is going to help their structure and allowing them to be more compact, play a little bit more through the lines. I still think that they're missing quite a few pieces. I think I predicted them to finish 5th, but check out that full video to get the full prediction. I do think that it's a bit difficult for Manchester United now because they are bringing in more people, and you don't want to just throw them into the fold. But great job from Xerxes. The man, the myth, the legend came in. His debut scored the game winner. Just for people who may not have been in that position, that finish is very, very delectable, I must say, right? Coming from the right-hand side to have the defender in front of you and to open up your hips, place it with your left foot. I believe he's a righty, so his opposite foot, or his weak foot, to place it in that bottom left corner, that's very, very good. Didn't put too much pace on it, let it hit his foot, and just guides it in the corner. That's all you need to do when the ball has pace on it from the cross. You don't need to do too much. Because if you try and swing, you can mess up your timing, and then, ultimately you're messing up a chance that could, again, ultimately win you the game. So he did a great job watching the ball all the way through, opening up his foot and guiding that in the bottom corner, allowing Manchester United to go ahead and start the season off with that win, started strong, and did a great job, I think, throughout that. The next game of the weekend, we had Ipswich versus Liverpool. Liverpool, in my opinion, picked it up in the second half. Right? First half, Ipswich did a great job. Fantastic job making sure that they let people know that we are here to play, right? We are here to play in the Prem. We have players that can ultimately hang with you. But what I see a lot with these teams that come up and are promoted is their playing ability and playing style isn't necessarily what holds them back. It's who is finishing these chances. Yes, you may be creating chances, but ultimately what gets you from winning the league and staying in the league and being a decent team within the Premier League on a consistent basis is who you have up top, who is finishing the chances that you guys are creating, who is putting themselves in position to finish the chances that the team is creating. So Ipswich did well in the first half, and then what you really see from most good teams is that in the second half, they showed their dominance. Second half, honestly, it was night and day difference. I think Liverpool really started to implement the tactics that Arne Slot really wanted. Mo Salah, I mean, absolutely fantastic. Jota, as you saw in my top five player prediction for the season, did a fantastic job with that finish. This man is just clinical with his finishing. Mo Salah plays him in, and instead of just tapping it bottom right corner, this man uses his left foot, his weak foot, top left corner. Keeper has no chance. I mean, man is just, his finishing is so clinical. Puts Liverpool up 1-0. Then the ball from the back from Van Dijk over to Mo Salah. Goes and attacks his defender, but not too much. He realizes, hey, look, there's two defenders starting to come over. Chops back, plays it, makes a run in behind. Defender tries to get his foot on it. Plays it into the bottom corner underneath the keeper. Mo Salah is clinical as ever. Goal and assist on the first game of the season. Can't ask for much more from your marksman, right? So great win for Liverpool. I think if they were to be able to replicate that in the first half, they probably would have won by 3-4 goals. But Ipswich showing some fight there and was able to stifle Liverpool in the first half, just unable to continue that performance on in the second half. So we move on to Arsenal versus Wolves. There are quite a few games playing during this time, so I wasn't able to watch every single one of them. As I said earlier, I will try to do my best to form more eyes so I can watch 8 different screens at once. But for right now, I had to pick and choose the games, was able to tune in some of them. Arsenal, this game I did watch, of course, this is my team. But Arsenal winning 2-0. Kai Havertz on the score sheet. So that's great. Had a goal and an assist along with Saka. Saka goal and an assist. It's kind of rough for me to say that Kai Havertz assist to Saka is an assist because although he did a good job of being aware that Saka had a little bit more space than he normally does because people tend to double up on his side, he did only pass the ball 5 meters, and then Saka took 4 or 5 touches and then buries that near post. That finish, by the way, is exceptional. Kai Havertz finish was great. Number 9 play. Saka cutting in instead of taking the defender on. Sometimes you just need to notice that you have numbers in the box. Cuts in on his left foot. Plays an in-swinging ball. So that way Kai Havertz goes and heads the ball. Doesn't have to put too much power, but also with that in-swinger, that also gives you the chance to put power on the ball because it's going in the direction that you want. So Kai Havertz hits it near post. Great finish from the man, showing a great number 9 presence there. And then also Bukayo Saka with the great ball, and then his finish, as I kind of alluded to a little bit earlier, goes in, cuts in on his right foot, and absolutely gives the keeper the eyes. The keeper's thinking that he's going to the back post. You can see it. He sets for that, and then Saka, way too hard of a strike. Good height for the keeper, but way too hard of a strike for the keeper to be able to react. I believe he was unable to reach that, right? So that is a great start for Saka, great start for Kai Havertz. That's what we want. Some of the interchanges were a little bit off. I think that Arsenal were a little bit more open than they're going to be in the coming games. But it's first game of the season. You need to get those points on the board. You need to see some signs from other players. I think Thomas Partey was good throughout the game, but also had some lapses of concentration. Gave the ball away in some instances where if you have a better team, they could punish you, right? But, it's the first game of the season. I see people already saying we need to sell him. Like, people online, give it a break, man. Relax, take a breath, calm down, okay? Get some rest, wake up the next day, and then, evaluate. Like, for you to just see, a gentleman giving the ball away 4 times and say, all right, we need to sell him. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? I think that Zinni did a great job, didn't show too much liability on the defensive end, did a decent job picking out some passes. Wasn't his greatest game, wasn't his best game, but we don't need everybody to have the greatest game. William Saliba had a bad error in judgment that could have led to a goal as well. Didn't see anybody coming for his neck, although he does have a lot of credit in the bank. We do need to call out people for certain things. Saliba, keep it up. keep it up what you're normally doing on the defensive end, but also keep your head up to mistakes, but also start to lock in, right? David Raya didn't give you the ball in a crazy situation there. You had more time than you thought, but it's okay. You move, right? Things happen. It's better that it happens now and you don't get punished, so you realize that you need to continue paying attention and not taking lapses, right? So we're going to move on to Everton versus Brighton. Brighton looking phenomenal. I mean, their recruitment is amazing. They're one of the only teams who can lose players, lose coaches, and their recruitment and how they do things just continues to shine on. Brighton has been a very big breath of fresh air. Matoma back from the injuries that he had last season, coming on and starting the season strong, looking as good as ever on that left-hand side, and his ability to create chances, link up play, and his dribbling is phenomenal. I believe in college he wrote a thesis or a paper on dribbling in football. I mean, that just shows you all you need to know about this gentleman, his footwork, his ability. If he can create more chances, work on his finishing as well as his decision making, and continue progressing throughout the Premier League, there's no ceiling, honestly, where he can not be one of the better left wings in the Premier League, and then if he gets a better move, if not in the world. So I do want to give a huge shout out to Matoma. Brighton looking good as ever. Everton not starting the best way. Sean Dyche didn't look too good there with his tactics and things of that nature, but again, it's the first game in the season, so we will see how Everton shake up. Next game, we do have Newcastle versus Southampton. Southampton looked better than they did when they left that 2 seasons ago. So I think that ultimately their game was good, but it also, I think, was a very, very harsh red from the referees. I don't know what they were thinking with that one. I think that the red card on Schär was absolutely way too heinous and reckless to go. I mean, all he did was stand up to himself, maybe a little head-to-head, but the guy went down like he just Zidane him. So, you know, let's be completely honest here. That was a little bit harsh, I think, on that red. And then you see in the Arsenal game a guy choking Kai Havertz, and there's not even a card being played there. And that gentleman was doing a little bit more than just that play. So the fact that he left that game without even a yellow card, for me, is a little ridiculous. But, you know, it is what it is. Arsenal won, and Newcastle showed great grit to still get a 1-0 victory when their gentleman goes out with a red card to 29th minute, I believe, before 30 minutes in the game and having to resume the game 60-odd minutes, man down and still winning. I mean, absolutely bravo. Newcastle really is very, very mentally strong, but also not only that, I mean, they showed some grit, some heart, and then also very, very sound tactically to be 10 men and stifle the other team while also giving yourself that victory on the first game of the season. We know that's very, very huge. Nottingham versus Bournemouth. I was unable to really catch too much of this game. That one ended 1-1. Bournemouth, I think, are going to struggle a little bit this season. Not, losing Solanke, a huge piece. I believe he scored 19 goals last season, 20 goals, something of that nature. And I mean, any team that loses a striker that produced those numbers, it's going to be difficult for you to get that back. I do believe that they did buy a new striker, so we'll see how that goes, see how they continue on the season, and then we'll go from there. I know Nottingham, for me, is one of the teams who I think is very good from that bottom end in just their speed, how they do things. They purchased a lot of players when they went to the Premier League. Now it's time for those players to ultimately produce what they need to produce for Nottingham to be a continuous team within the Premier League. West Ham versus Aston Villa, I believe I predicted this to be 2-2. So it ended up being 2-1 to Aston Villa. Nana did an absolute fantastic job in his debut game for Aston Villa, coming up with the goal in the 4th minute, and then just the way he showed his presence within the midfield. I think he did a great job with that. West Ham and Aston Villa, though, I think that game was very, very 50-50. I mean, both teams had great possession. Same amount of corners, same amount of passes, same amount of almost shots on target. I mean, the game was very, very fine margins. And you have Jacob Ramsey doing what he needed to do to give his team an opportunity. And then Duran finishes that chance, making it 2-1 for Aston Villa. I think that, like I said, they're going to do very well this season, showing some signs of grit along with that tactical awareness that Unai Emery brings of him being an experienced manager. So I think that was great from Aston Villa to get that win. I don't think West Ham has anything to hold their head down low for. They did a great job in showing what they're going to be looking like this season. I think they already showed signs of looking better than they did under David Moyes. No offense to him, he brought them a European Cup. So great job from David Moyes. I think that the West Ham fans were tired of the playing style, felt they had the players to be able to produce a bit better of a playing style and move their way up within the table. I think that West Ham is going to look very good this season. And then starting with the day, today's games, we had Chelsea versus Manchester City. Manchester City, I mean, really what to say about this team. They looked fantastic today. I think that they still obviously weren't clicking into the gears that they normally will, but Jeremy Doku, I mean, goodness gracious, this brother was everywhere. This man just needs to work on his final product, but ultimately he's the reason why they got their first goal with Erling Haaland. Great number 9 play, holding off the defenders, using his feet very well, actually. It wasn't a tap in, didn't just take a touch and strike it. Got into a better position because he realized, hey, look, I can get myself in a better position. I'm going to use my size and strength to go ahead and shield off one defender, go between them two, and then a nice dink over the keeper, because if you're going at the keeper with a little bit of pace, you could start moving within that penalty spot. You know the keeper is expecting you to place it to the right or left of him. On the ground, slide rule pass, and Haaland noticed that, chipped it over the keeper, a little dinker, and then got them up 1-0. I think that KDB for me was a little bit quiet throughout this game. But I just think that Jeremy Doku on that left-hand side looked phenomenal. He started off on the right-hand side. I think he was a little bit shaky over there. Don't think that he was the best. I believe about 20 minutes in, they switched him to the left-hand side. The new gentleman that City got, I forget his name, but he came from Girona, the Brazilian kid. He did a great job to me as well. Debut game, showing a lot of his ability, a lot of what he will be able to bring to Manchester City. And again, you know, Pep will bring the best out of these players. So great 2-0 victory for them. Chelsea, on the other hand, I think looked shaky. I think Enzo Fernandez, I mean, I saw a Chelsea fan the other day on the Football Terrace, shout out to Terry, say that Chelsea's midfield is better than Arsenal's midfield. Yeah, that's not true, brother. I don't know what you're on, but yeah, you definitely need to get off of it and go seek some help if that's truthfully how you believe. My man is not that good, Enzo Fernandez. Honestly, I don't know what it is, and I don't want to just throw him in the dirt like that, but goodness gracious, he is just not producing what he needs to be producing. Maybe he's just a person that needs to play at La Liga, a league that's a little bit more technical, not as physical, not as pacey when it comes to the all-around game. I think he'll have more time on the ball to pick out passes that he needs to do. I think just the positions that he picks up within Chelsea, he just has less time that he's probably used to and just doesn't have the quality to continue pushing these passes forward. Chelsea, in the latter stages of the season last year, just looked better without him. Wasn't sure if that was just a phase that they were going through, but ultimately I don't think it was. I think that they are just better without him. I think that Caicedo needs to be careful because he's starting to paint his name as being a dirty player. Leaving additional tackles on KDB and Doku at the end here. All right, one, you're going to get players that, kind of how I was, if I see you doing that to my teammate, brother, I'm waiting for you to get the ball. And then two, you just don't want to create that name for yourself because the Premier League just isn't going to take it. They're going to be quicker to give you that red card. On tackles maybe that aren't warranted for a red card, but when you start going out for players specifically and then endangering them, it's going to paint a target on your back, and that's something you just don't want to do when you're trying to create still a name for yourself at the new club that you're at. So I think he needs to be careful of that, and I think that Chelsea as a whole didn't look terrible, but just didn't look like the team that they need to be. So we'll wait and see how they continue to look throughout this season. But, Chelsea has to pick it up. I think that also, before I actually go on to the next game here, I think that the manager made terrible substitutions. I don't think that his substitutions were very good. They brought in an 18-year-old from Barcelona who used to play, I believe, for Barcelona's academy. Non-existent. Did not look good at all. I don't know why you're bringing him on against Manchester City. That's not the play. And then taking off Nkunku, taking off Jackson. Yes, Jackson should have had a couple goals. He needs to watch his offsides. And then also, I believe that he needs to, his situational awareness and his ability, that ball that came over top and that he hit directly at Ederson, I mean, that's got to be a goal. Yes, it's not the easiest chance, but honestly, it's not as difficult as it looks because all you need to do is put it to either side of the keeper. You're within the 6-yard box. Keeper's not reacting. If you put that 3 feet to the left, that's a goal. I mean, that's a goal, and Chelsea are looking at a better a result in the first game of the season against a top dog like Manchester City. But I think to take him off when he was getting in positions to score, I think that was stupid. I think taking off Nkunku, obviously, last season he didn't play a lot. So, maybe that was precaution taking him off. But I just don't think that was the smartest thing to do. But, manager's first Premier League game, hopefully he will learn from his mistakes and make better substitutions. But ultimately, I think Chelsea have a lot to learn and a lot to continue to do if they want to chase that top four and reach the heights that they want to reach this season. On to Brentford versus Crystal Palace. 2-1 Brentford. Wissa looked fantastic. And Mbeumo looks fantastic. I mean, these guys did very, very well. Crystal Palace, Eze, showing some bits and bobs of why I think that he needs to be picked up by a better team. No offense to any Crystal Palace fans, but that man, Eze, is just, he's very class, right? And Mbeumo even showing of why he needs to be looked at as well. Wissa did a great job supplying Mbeumo with his goal and then getting his own goal on the day, giving Brentford that 2-1 a victory to start off their season very good. And we had some good games this weekend, not too many, goals throughout, but also I think that was a good level starter, good game week 1. And then we also have Leicester City versus Tottenham tomorrow. So I will give you a video after that game to see if Highline for Life is going to be continuous throughout this season, how Leicester's going to play that, how Tottenham's looking. I think they're interchanging and play style is very entertaining, but we're going to see how that matches up against a team that is more attacking, more experienced in the Premier League later in the season. And then we'll see how that looks tomorrow against Leicester City, a newly promoted team, and see what Leicester do to try and counteract that. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This has been ADR. Again, we are going to continue bringing content to you guys of the highest quality that I can produce. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below of what you like, what you don't like, what you think the predictions are going to be for this season, who's going to win tomorrow, what you think the score is going to be tomorrow. I do appreciate the last video also that I did. I want to do a huge shout out because it got 300 plus views. That is the most views I've ever gotten on a video. Let's go ahead and continue with the views of that and continue doing it here. I've been ADR. Peace.